recording. And we are live. Episode 54 of the open episode. Welcome to the RINO podcast. Happy Sunday to everybody out there enjoying their, well, it's Masters
It's a nice
Sunday.
day outside.
It's nice.
Beautiful.
It'll probably get cloudy in Massachusetts, but right now the sun is shining. Partly cloudy. Chance of rain. Temperature 54 degrees.
It's beautiful. I went out and because we started late this morning and I woke up super early and I didn't go to spinning, which was really bad on my part, but I'm going tomorrow. I went and got Starbucks on a Sunday morning, which I usually don't do. And it's beautiful outside.
It is nice. Nice sunny day. But we have a lot to talk about. We just did a great episode on the Patreon on the disinformation conference this weekend with the kids over at the Chicago Thinker. But we want to talk about the hubbub of this week and all involved with OK Groomer. What do you think? Was there one exchange that set this debate off, or I think it been a culmination, but I'm trying to think.
I think it was originally Florida media reacting to our good friend Christina Pushaw on this parental rights bill in Florida. Right.
So Red Steve's had a good point about this, like to really drill it home, to recap where this caught fire, because a lot of the dumb libs, your boomer lib mother or aunt or family member on Facebook might be like, the Republicans want to cancel Disney. It's like, well, no. I mean, you might want to cancel your Disney subscription, but not cancel the company.
I'm not. I do have to say right here, Jeff, I'm not canceling Disney.
Well, look, here's the problem with the whole.
I like bed knobs and broomsticks at my fingertips at all times.
If you want to do that, if you want to boycott every single entertainment or product piece of entertainment or product that disagrees with you politically, you're gonna really restrict yourself from the things you like, especially with Disney, but or even like eating or clothing or whatever. It's just
my opinion is that my beliefs are reinforced by going out into the world and seeing things that disagree with my values. So I might see something on Disney I don't agree with, and that doesn't mean that my values change. It means that they could change. It depends. But it's usually cemented by me thinking about certain situations and certain cultural things.
Yeah. And with what happened with Disney is, so Florida passes the Parental Rights Bill, and the media, Disney was initially going to take a pass at this, right? But they have a bunch of activists that work for them who are a minority of the employees. A small, loud, obnoxious minority.
And if I remember correctly, Jeff, there was a poll done of Disney employees, and a majority of them supported this bill.
Oh, like 70+%, I think, supported the bill. Yeah, easily. And the media was pressing Disney to come out against it. Because prior to that, they just wanted to avoid it, which was the smart thing to do if you're a corporation. But their insane activist employees wouldn't let them. The media kept pushing them. And finally, they caved and had to come out against it. And then you have all of these Disney executives doubling down and talking about how they're going to now start really pushing this and sort of like completing the right-leaning medias, and if you're a conservative, like just kind of proving the point of like, whoa, this is a real problem. You're now pushing this. And they crowbar in characters into the animated features that have like no business being there, but they have to literally put this attitude, this philosophy into their material, into their content. And the label is thrown around of grooming kids at an early age to be hypersexualized, hyper-aware of sexuality, and really grotesque stuff where kids should be maintaining their innocence. You know, we've had all kinds of takes about this,
Can I
including from libertarians.
Can I
Like,
give a definition of grooming real quick so
sure.
we can like put this down? From This is me Googling the definition, Oxford Languages. Grooming is the action of a pedophile of preparing a child for a meeting, especially via the internet chat room, and with the intention of committing a sexual offense. So just so that we are using the basic definition of grooming here, just so everyone knows.
Is there like if it's Webster's, is there like a second level broader definition too? It would be
Well, I mean, grooming could mean like you're grooming a horse, that, or like grooming for an award show or something like that. All right. We're talking about this definition of grooming.
Right. So you have to ask yourself if anyone, teacher, Disney, whomever, is injecting this material about sexuality, anybody's sexuality, into curriculum, why are they doing so? Why are they doing so? Now, if you're being generous to our opponents who are doing this, you might say, well, they because it went beyond, stay out of my bedroom and let us get married. And now it's like, well, now we're going to tell you about what's going on in our bedroom and our lives because you need to be more accepting. You have to make children more accepting of your lifestyle, which is absurd. Because, one, they're children. They don't understand it, nor do they care. This is the real thing. Like, kids don't care about this stuff. And you've seen the Libs of TikTok videos, which is a great account, about these teachers who want to push this on kids. And they're like, well, why can't I say this or that to the kids that I'm educating? It's just like, well, one, it's completely inappropriate. Well, how am I supposed to tell about my partner and I went hiking? We'll just say you went hiking. You don't have to be an activist about this, and they just can't grasp this concept. So it's a bit disturbing. And now you're seeing things like in New Jersey, in the curriculum of second graders, where they're going to put, sexuality into the curriculum.
Second grade. So on a personal level, okay, I went to Catholic school from kindergarten through senior in high school in Louisville, Kentucky. Louisville's a big German Catholic town. Here is very Irish Catholic, right? And so my family background is French Catholic. And so when I went to Catholic school, we had to have a permission slip sent home in order to have family life being taught. So we had to have a permission slip sent home. This is what was being discussed. They were great about it, like open about the entire curriculum. But yeah, like even in the third grade, like this was family life. Okay. Like they were going to teach us about the birds and the bees in a very third grade level way. But we're not getting into gender theory. We're just getting into this is what happens. And again, a permission slip went home. Okay. And so I was in the third grade in the 90s. I get that I'm 33 now. Where did we lose our way in the fact that teachers are now allowed to teach whatever the fuck they want? Like, let's be perfectly honest. It's not in your standards. It's not in your curriculum. You're teaching at that point whatever the fuck you want.
Well, yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah. No, you go ahead.
No, well, this is an attitude that it's a very serious issue that we have to take on thoroughly, because the state, the education establishment, believes that it is their responsibility to raise and bring up children. And this is directly and diametrically opposed to what we believe as parents, is that, no, it's our responsibility, and I am hiring you to educate my child on what I determine you will be educating them on. Now, we come to that agreement by me paying tuition or me paying taxes. and why you have school boards and all of these types of things. But make no mistake about it, it is a one-directional relationship. Okay, it is not the responsibility of educators or schools to develop a moral philosophy for my child.
Really is. Yeah, I mean,
it's to reinforce the one I already believe in.
Right. I think that it takes a village to raise a child belief that the left has. It's really gone over the line in a lot of areas. And so in the course of the last week, Jeff, I mean, like in the course of the last week, they've been freaking out about people saying, okay, groomer. Like, and the thing is that we're getting a pretty nuanced take here. Like we support parental rights wholeheartedly because parents have a right to know what their children are being taught in schools. Over the last 2 years with COVID, they have seen it. And the reason why a lot of this is coming to light is because they've seen it and disagreed with it, whereas maybe they didn't see it before and didn't really know or believe their child being taught this. And so my biggest issue here is that if parents are finding this inappropriate and they're electorally replacing school board members over this, why is the left doubling down on this concept? Is it because your extreme partisanship and polarization is so far ingrained that you can't come to the middle and say, yes, we agree on the age appropriateness and we need to let the children grow? Or that's the thing. Like you essentially say what the concerns are that are true, that you're teaching this and indoctrinating this by even fighting it.
I think that's a good point for a lot of the people involved in this. It's just somebody from the other side says X, therefore I must say Y. It is just that straightforward for a lot of them. And then they don't even realize what they're doubling down on. And then they say, well, fuck it. Then I'm really doubling down on it because there is no...
we can't even agree on basic things right now. Like, that's the thing. Like, you can't even agree on the age appropriateness of something going into the third grade. 8 years old. 8 years old. We can't even agree on age appropriateness for things for children anymore. That is ridiculous.
But here's the problem. The normal people can. Normal people can, and the vast, vast, vast majority of people are normal on this. They don't want it. They would much rather have a point of neutrality, meaning like, don't talk to my kid about any of this stuff, okay? But the small fraction of educators, academia, and leftist activists are distilled into this. Like, they're not doing construction. They're not carpenters or plumbers or cops, right? They don't have those jobs. They distill themselves into this narrow column of education and academia, and therefore it's funneled. This activity is all funneled to people who think in that manner. And it's really disturbing because it's tough to break out of, and you have to take this stuff head on. And even when you take it head on and you pass you see that, again, libs of TikTok, these idiots are like, well, I don't care what the Florida bill says. I'm a teacher in Florida. I'm still going to do it. It's like, the fuck you are.
No, we'll sue you. Like, that's like, now it's going to be against the law starting in January or in July. And no, like, you are going to get sued. I don't think you understand this. So if you do it from now on, you are going to get sued because the thing is that Florida, like, standard, I looked these up. Florida education standards, very, 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 they have transparency laws, very transparent. Okay. Everything along those lines, a curriculum transparency, they have it, like, and that's the thing. Like, do you not want this accountability on public servants? Like, teachers are considered that. So do you not want that anymore? That's where I have some issues. I mean, like, it's.
So, but you touched on a good point. We kind of hit on it a little bit on the Patreon episode, but we'll get more into it here. We have people on the right who are waving the surrender flag on this and going after the Florida Parental Rights Bill. David French in particular, when
you wave the surrender flag, it breeds more populism, FYI. That is my personal opinion. I think that Donald Trump was a reaction to people on the right not listening to people in the electorate. I just, it's one of those things where it's like, why are you surrendering when we know that your former positions would have been that you are fighting for actual good values, and instead going to a point where you're on the tail end proposing that people hire expensive lawyers and sue,
which is so, like, impractical and may not succeed at all. And to the further point, which I actually, shame on me for not covering it. When this bill was passed, the media flat out lied and called it the Don't Say Gay bill, which is an absolute lie. And it's
and then the left started off by trolling and saying, "Oh, it's okay to say gay." Well, yeah, it's always been okay to say gay. No one. The thing is that,
they're so proud of.
Yeah,
they're so proud of themselves. They think they're
connected with this. Okay, the LGBT community don't want to be connected with this like actual slur. Like, that's the thing. Like, they don't want to be accused of grooming, but like, you have these activist minded people that just like get in and just cause these issues, and they're very fringe. Okay, like, they're not normal. Okay, and that's one thing that needs to be said. These people are fringe. They're not normal. And no, they don't need to be teaching extra instructionary in their curriculum on sex education and gender theory when it's not necessary. And so that's the thing. Like, why are you pushing this? What is the point?
Well, then we have to ask that question, right? Why? Why are they doing it? Because there's not very many wholesome reasons you're pushing for this type of indoctrination in our schools.
That's a valid question.
There's
okay? That is a question that the left politically doesn't have an answer for. And I think that that's the reason why they got so mad at people saying, "Okay, groomer."
If you're one, you could debate the tactics and strategy about how to take this whole issue on, right? I think the parental rights bill is the right way to go. You have your surrender monkeys like David French who will just, say, "No, sue, hire a lawyer." And then you have Robbie Soave, the moronic libertarians. The libertarians are going like, "I don't see what the big deal is." Guarantee that guy doesn't have fucking kids. Guarantee that guy doesn't have kids.
I don't see what the point of this is.
Yeah. Why?
It's not libertarian. Thank you for giving your fucking opinion.
Yeah. So another, more dipshit libertarianism, but it brings it back to the question, why? Why are they so intent on doubling down on this? So I think it is split with what you mentioned earlier. Yes. If the Republicans say blank, I must say not blank. Full stop. Like, they have to reject anything and never come to the come to Jesus moment and go like, "Oh yeah, maybe we shouldn't, push back on this." Because once you start peeling it back, there's no logical reason this stuff should be pushed on first, second, and third graders at all. And with all the slurs that to this day the left continues to throw at folks on the right. When you go, "Okay, groomer, what are you going to do?" And like some people, "Well, this isn't a productive way of having an intelligent discourse about this idea." Well, okay, we can't have an intelligent discourse about this idea. We cannot. So it doesn't exist. Yeah. Okay, firing.
Literally when this started happening, Jeff, the chairman of the DNC went on and called Tom Cotton a maggot-filled man. Okay, imagine. Yeah. Ronna McDaniels going on national TV and calling anybody a maggot-filled person that's on the Democratic side, but he's allowed to say that. That was allowed, and there was no pushback from liberals at all about what he said. Nothing.
Well, everything is just
But this makes me really mad, the groomer thing, when you all can't even come to the table and say that there are age-appropriate things that need to be taught. Like, why are you trying to push this ideology on like second graders? It just makes no sense. But you all can't even come and agree that there are things that are not age appropriate. Would you agree? Like, and that's the thing that just gets to me. You can't agree that kindergartners shouldn't be learning certain things, and that's that's troubling.
Yeah.
I think that they're going to long-term lose on education because of this. I do
Yeah.
think.
I worry though.
I think that they are. I think the left is scared shitless right now, which is why you see their very feral reaction, because they're losing. And so when you're in a defensive position like that, which they are rarely in a defensive position, right? Because they have the media behind them, because everybody who's a journalist is a lib. And so they're in huge defense mode right now, and they're punching hard. And this stuck. I think that they're going to lose out on education. We saw in the special elections in Wisconsin where conservatives won school board seats overwhelmingly this week. And so I think that you're going to see conservatives push back. They're going to win. I think education is a good issue for us to take on.
It should be huge. My only fear, and I hope this doesn't come, is that this sort of the attention that has been given to what our kids are being taught, because it's not going to end, folks. It's not going to end. It is a pipeline from academia where the teachers are taught to teach this way, right from the schools, like pure indoctrination, and it needs to be unwound. It needs to be controlled. Parents need to push back. And I worry that like the generations of parents are just like kind of apathetic about it and don't necessarily care too much, don't want to push back. The teachers' unions are too powerful, which is absolutely true. They're too powerful. But, the unfortunate part of this is we're not seeing that even locally in Massachusetts. I'm not hearing shit from even like Jeff Deal on this specific issue, who should be howling to the moon. Like this is red meat. And Chris Doughty, which, good for him. I'm going to vote for him at convention because he has a better shot of winning in the general. But he keeps talking about inflation over and over again. Yeah, and you're right. It's the number one issue. But if you want to light a fire and win a primary, buddy, you might have to you got to go harder into the school stuff. And
you don't have to really go partisan on it. You can say that and that's the thing. Like, you don't have to be like, okay, groomer, all of that stuff. You just say, we believe that public education should be extremely neutral. We support that. We'll take measures in order for it to be extremely neutral, and look at curriculum where we can make it better and stronger. You don't even have to go extreme partisan, but you need to bring up the matter of the fact and state the obvious. And that's
just criticize the crazy, paint yourself as the normal one, come at it. The solution is neutrality. Okay. Yep. And let them set the trap for themselves of saying, well, you believe in the Don't Say Gay bill? Be like, well, you didn't read the bill there, did you, Jim Browdy, or whomever, whatever, scumbag Boston Globe reporter is asking you the question. Like, but get on it, because, and every office holder, federal, state, it literally doesn't matter, because you should be pushing for this stuff. If you're at the federal level, if you're running for state legislature across the country, you should be pushing for this. This should be what you're talking about. And it's because it hits home. Yeah, it hits home to everybody. So final verdict on this for me, I'm absolutely okay with people leveling the name, throwing groomer.
I'm not going to call you okay groomer. I'm not going to say it, but I'm not going to be like, you know what? Like, after 20 years of being called every single name in the book for being a Republican, after you all can't come to the table and agree on age appropriateness for things for children, I'm not defending you.
Well, I'll go a step further, and that's a fine position, Caitlin, and you take that. But I'm if you're going to double down on this, like I said, there's no a wholesome reason to defend this bill does not exist. Period. Full stop. So if you're gonna, I'm sorry, not to defend this bill, to defend attacking the bill, right? If you're in that position, because the bill is good, but if you're in the position of,
and the bill is 7 pages long, how are people getting it wrong? It is 7 pages.
Yeah,
7 pages.
Yeah. You really can't defend the left's position on this. There's no wholesome reason to be advocating for this type of education and curriculum.
And you can't. And the thing is that even within like the gender theory thing, like you cannot say that, oh, like we need to teach this to kindergartners because they might be questioning their gender. They're kindergartners.
Well,
They're going to be questioning everything.
I'll tell you what
And so
the fascinating, yeah.
you should not be imprinting your personal opinion on a kindergartner on gender theory. What you're doing is purposely confusing these children, and then they believe you because you're an adult. You're the person of authority. And so when you do that, it does make me mad, Jeff. Like, you should not ever do this. And that's the reason why you're getting called okay groomer, because you are purposely imprinting your ideology on these children, and that is not okay.
All right, we got to end there.
Sorry.
No, we got to end there. That's it. All right, folks. Go over to the patreon.com/RhinoPod, only $1 a month. Did a good episode on the disinformation conference and the youngsters at the Chicago Thinker. We will see you in 2 weeks because next week is Easter and we're going to take the weekend off. So have a great couple of weeks. Be well, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye, guys.